Hello and welcome to the second of our Talis Online Reading List tutorials here at St Mary's University, Twickenham. This second tutorial is going to show you how to create a new reading list from scratch in the Talis system, and also how to bookmark resources, which is the process of adding new resources such as books, articles and websites to the reading list. In order to make things easier in future, I recommend that you bookmark the reading list system and add it to your favourites on your browser. You can do this fairly easily by approaching the page that we're on at the moment, which is accessible easily from StaffNet, and then bookmarking this page in your browser. This can normally be accomplished by clicking on the star icon that's visible here, or the similar icon in the browser that you're using. Once you've reached this screen, the first thing you need to do, fairly obviously, is log into the system. The login button is located just here, and it's important to realise that if it says login here rather than your name, then you're not currently logged into the system. So if you just log in here with your St Mary's University IT accounts, these are the normal details that you use to log into the system. I'm just using a test account here to demonstrate the system. So now that we're logged in, you can see that your name has appeared here together with a little icon of a person, and that just demonstrates that you're logged into the system. So in this tutorial, we're assuming that you want to create a new reading list, and that the reading list for the particular module you're thinking of does not already exist in the system. It's worth checking at this stage for duplicates in the system, because it's fairly common that reading lists already exist in some format for particular modules, and it's not always easy to see whether duplicates exist at a later stage. So to do this, simply search for the module code that you'd like to check. So in this case, I'm going to check for a psychology module, and I can see here that if I was thinking of Sci 4007, there's already a list existing there. So it's best to check whether that's what you're looking for before you start. If at that stage the reading list doesn't exist, then you can now proceed to create a new list at this point. So to create a new list, simply click on My Lists at the top of the screen, and then move over to the right hand side of the screen and you'll see a button marked Create New List. So if you click on that, you'll see the new list screen, and at this point we just need to enter the descriptive information that names the list for students in future. It's fairly important to follow a naming convention at this point to ensure that all lists are consistent on the reading list system. Our recommendation is to start with the module code, followed by its title. Please note that I'm just using a made-up module at this stage. Description is an optional field and there is no particular need to fill this out. Hierarchy, however, is very important as it allows these lists to be linked to my modules in future. So if you select hierarchy and then type the module that you're looking for, once again I am just going to link to a randomly selected module at this stage. Demonstrate this. Once you've found your module here, select it obviously and then press save, and you'll see that it says one node added there, and that's just linked it to the My Modules hierarchy. The next stage is to select the current academic year. In most cases you should see only the current year at this point, but if 2 years are displayed, just make sure that you're picking the year that you're currently teaching in. And then the final stage here is just to give a statement of the number of students you're expecting on the course. In other words, the head count of students on this particular module. I'm just going to specify a number here, but it's fairly important that this is correct, or at least roughly accurate at this stage, as it informs future library purchasing within the university. Okay, so once you've created all those details, simply click on Create List. And at this point it will prompt you to ask whether there's already an owner of this list. It's okay at this point to just click on Decide Later. And there we have it, a new blank list. So once you've created a new blank list in this format, the first thing you'll probably want to do is to add some subsections. These are obviously very helpful to students as they subdivide the list with headings and just make it easier to navigate. Adding sections is very simple. All you need to do is to go to the right hand side of the screen, find the new section, entry and click on the arrow button to drag this onto the list. You then need to give this a name. In many cases this will be a week by week section structure, so the name will be week 1 or appropriate. Once you've given the section a name, you can also give it some extra descriptive details, such as once you've entered that, just simply click on Save. You can easily carry on adding sections at this point in order to prepare your list for later editing. So simply drag more sections on like this and give them the names as appropriate. Also drag sections within sections if you want more of a hierarchical structure. So simply drag the section within the existing section like that, and then give it the appropriate name. So just to point out at this stage the way the editing structure works in the Talis system, on the left hand side you have the overall list content which you'll be editing for students to view, and on the right hand side you have some editing tools, and the most important of these here is the bookmark list. And when you start making bookmarks on the system, you'll start to see this being populated in this currently blank space here with the bookmarks that you've made. You've also, as I already mentioned, got the section, note and page options here, but I'd recommend that you only look at sections initially for simplicity. The other key thing to notice at this point is the edit button just here, which allows you to edit the list details. So any of those details that you entered to start with, you can easily edit here and then save them back to the system. The system automatically saves any changes that you make to the list, so there's no need to worry about losing things. If you move away from your computer at any point, it saves back the changes automatically. So once you've created the structure that you feel appropriate for your module list at this point, and this might involve many sections listed here, you can then just save this draft, and that will save it back to the system centrally. As I just mentioned, this will happen automatically anyway, but it's usually best to click Save Draft once you've finished on a particular session. So at this point you can see that we now have a draft list, and this is what it will look like to the students at present. There isn't much here, and we have no bookmarks yet, so this will soon change in the next tutorial. And one further thing to be aware of at this stage is the fact that every list on the Talis system has a public list owner whose name appears at the top of the list, and within St Mary's this is normally the module convener. So if you are the module convener, I would recommend at this point that you select the edit button on this screen and then click on Assign List Owner, and then type your name in to the system. Look for your profile, select the right person, and then just press Assign at this point. After doing that, you can see that your name has now appeared at the top of the list prominently, and this information is very useful to students as it lets them know who created the reading list and who the key module convener is for their particular module. Okay, so thank you for watching this tutorial. Just to recap, we have in this tutorial showed you how to create a new list from scratch and to add sections to that list so it has an initial structure, and also to assign the list ownership. In the next tutorial, we'll show you how to add bookmarks to the list and to start populating it with resources. Thank you for watching, and please proceed to tutorial 3 at this point if you wish to continue with the learning process.